So this week on Ryan and Megan, we're going to be answering the question, do you have to be a minimalist to be a travel therapist?
Welcome to episode number 13. We are Ryan and Megan, two traveling physical therapists. We're traveling with our two young daughters, and we are bringing this podcast to you today about traveling and being a minimalist. So we are going to dive into it. Before we do, if you could leave us a 5-star review, that would be wonderful. If you've enjoyed this podcast anywhere you're listening, or if you're watching on YouTube, give us a thumbs up and a follow. That would be really wonderful.
Yeah, so sometimes we get the question, probably due to some of the content we put out, do you have to be a minimalist? Is it a requirement that you're a minimalist to be a travel therapist? And our answer is no, you do not have to be a minimalist or, believe in the ideas of minimalism and to be a travel therapist.
Yep.
But it is super helpful, and we're going to kind of go over some ways and some things we've picked up. I would not call us necessarily minimalist by any means.
No.
I mean, we literally pull a huge 38-foot trailer behind a truck, our home, with us on travel contracts. So I think we're as far from minimalism as you can get. But there is some components of it that we really like, and it might be beneficial to you. But we should probably define what minimalism is if you're unfamiliar.
Okay. So roughly, I would say minimalism means that you take or keep or use the least amount of things as possible to maximize your brain space and the ease of living and keep those things from bogging you down.
I think that's really good. I think most people, when they think of minimalism, or you see minimalists on social media, online, they think of like you have one bowl in your cabinet, one cup in your cabinet, no furniture in your apartment. Like you think of like these extreme cases. Extreme. And there is extreme people out there that just love that lifestyle. But that's kind of what comes to mind for people. And there's like a hint of truth of it. Really, it just means less things, less headache, trying to really dwindle down from this typically American thought process of more is better and go back to just a few things here and there that's valuable to me.
Necessities.
The necessities. Yes. And then you don't have so much, decision fatigue and all that. So that would be kind of minimalism in a Ryan and Megan short definition. If you're unfamiliar with that, and if you type that into Google search or you type that into YouTube, you're going to find a lot of videos on it. Like I said, by no means are we experts, but there is some components that I think is really great for travel therapy.
And while you said we're not minimalist by any means, I wouldn't call us the opposite end of the spectrum, though. We're not maximalists either. So if minimalism and the daunting task of feeling like you have to pare down all of your belongings is something that's like keeping you from traveling, know that we are kind of in the middle. And so finding a middle ground can be really helpful, but I wouldn't call us maximalists either. So
I would say there's room for improvement. I think each time we have taken a travel contract, we have swung farther towards minimalism and have packed less and less, taken less stuff with us.
Yeah, well, you just kind of figure out your project a little bit.
Yes.
Your project.
Well, you figure out your process, your flow, what you truly need and what you truly don't need. Because nothing is worse when you pack something, you lug it around for that 3 to 6 months, or if you're traveling contracts back to back to back, you might be gone for a year, and the next thing you know, you're like, I just carried this thing around in my car or in my suitcase for a whole year and I never got it out. That's such like a weird feeling of like, okay, I guess I really don't need it.
Yeah. Or if you go back home, like we have our RV and then we also have our home, and we obviously did not bring everything in our home with us. So it's a really weird feeling to go back to the house and have all of that stuff that we haven't used for 3 to 6 months and like figure out what to do with it. You're like, do I need this then? Should I keep it or
Right?
do I
Because
chuck it?
no matter what the space you have, you're going to fill it with stuff.
Yeah.
And then, but you're right. It kind of hits home a little bit of like, I have a whole closet full of clothes and drawers here. I didn't need them for the past 6 months and I didn't miss them.
Yeah.
So do I really need them? And it's kind of a weird mindset. But let's go back to like our first contract. And I know we've mentioned this before, but our first contract was in Montana. We had a renovated RV. We have videos of that on our YouTube. Young Ryan and Megan, we were fresh out of physical therapy school, and we hopped right into travel. So we pack up this old motorhome and a car.
Mm-hmm.
And really, we had pretty well all of our belongings in it. We didn't really have a home base, so we kind of took everything with us. But I would say we kind of thought we needed all that stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we didn't have a separate home to keep it in or an apartment. We had my grandparents' basement, and they let us use like a small little closet to put some things in.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only stuff that we left. But yeah, we brought everything, and we thought we were going to need it all. Ryan brought every single one of his hobbies he's ever had. Golf clubs, hunting bow, fishing rods.
Backpacking gear.
You probably had hockey, like roller skating stuff.
I had my baseball bag, my old baseball bag. I'm telling you, I had every hobby in there. I don't know what I thought, that I was just going to like go join
impressive.
like a mountain baseball league, and I was going to, I don't know. I was just like,
I can't believe you fit that all in.
Well, it's weird because going out on that first contract, it really did feel like I've always needed this stuff. I'm going to need it. And it's like I didn't take the time to really think of like, no, I'm going to go do different experiences, right? I'm going to go explore and hike. So, okay, maybe I need some of that stuff. But I'm not going to probably play golf that much.
Right.
You know, I'm not a golfer.
No.
And so the one time I might play golf, it doesn't matter.
It was fun.
You're going out on travel contract to do different experiences. And maybe some of that's your hobbies. And so bring those one or two hobbies, but you're probably going to do things that you've never done before. Explore new towns. We like to do some camping, so I would say that's one of our hobbies. We did some camping in some cool areas. But I remember on that first contract, we took so much stuff. And it really was, we carried it around in our RV for 6 months before we got the RV back home, crossing over, going across country to our next contract. And we never got it out. We never used it. It was just in storage.
And we really didn't get another experience of repacking an RV until we moved into this one. We did pack to go to rentals, and that's a little bit different than packing into an RV. Just, I don't know, it feels different. But
I think it's more limiting in a sense of when we did rentals. So we did rentals. We took a contract up in Washington. We took a contract in Wisconsin. Those were kind of the two main ones before we came back home.
Yeah.
And so we rented places to live. So like apartments in people's homes, or, we've rented homes. And when we did that, you're really limited to suitcases and then what you can pack in your vehicles. Now there's two of us, so we needed 2 vehicles to commute to work. And so we could load up 2
that
vehicles.
In and of itself kind of limits you for sure.
But you don't have like a whole RV trailer that you can stuff full like we did the first time. So I would say from RV travel, Ryan and Megan at the beginning with our motorhome, Big Betty, when we went to rentals, we did learn. We learned some lessons, and we took less. But I would say our cars were still super full when we made that cross-country trip all the way to Washington. Both our vehicles were full, and it was just me and you.
Yeah.
So that's like something to think about. Because I don't even know what we brought. We brought multiple suitcases. We probably brought way too many clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And really, you cycle out most of the time you're wearing work clothes. For me, working home health, or even there at that, we did some outpatient work. We wore a polo and khakis for most of the time. And then we really wore the same outfits that we like to wear, our favorites, on the weekends.
Yeah.
But we still brought a lot of junk. Less hobby stuff this time. I learned a little bit on that.
Yeah. Yeah, but each time it really has been paring down. And I don't know about you, but I feel like this last move into our RV, our current situation, I feel like we packed the least we've ever packed, whether it was an RV or a home. If you don't count all of the furnishings that you would need in a home that would already be in a rental, we had to provide the furnishings obviously ourselves for the RV. So it comes obviously with a couch and a place to sit and beds, but linens and towels, stuff in the cabinets for eating. We just got that all set up so that we didn't have to worry about taking it back and forth between our home and the RV. So that's a huge key for us. The other things that we would have to travel with to a rental, I feel like we took the least this time.
I would definitely say so. The two houses we rented, that was a little different when we brought Olivia with us, and that was our first time doing travel with a child. So we had Reagan; she was 6 months old, and we traveled for 2 contracts, a total of 6 months. And we still piled in the cars quite a bit, but I think for me and you, we packed less. So I think that was the very first time we found out, okay, we can pack, very minimal clothes. Clothes were a big thing. And really what was taking up most room was we weren't sure what to bring for Reagan, our young one. She was only 6 months, so still an infant. So we were, we brought quite a bit of toys and all that stuff. A lot of stuff she needed, I would say.
Yeah.
But I think that taught us that, we didn't really need too much. And I think what gave us the confidence was that first contract with a child away from home, we did in our home state still. So we were like 5-6 hours away from our home. So it felt close enough that if we were forgetting anything, we could come back home and pick it up. And I think that really helped. And we ended up not needing anything else.
Yeah. Yeah. And so this time now we're in the RV and we have a couple different cabinets with just empty space, like multiple spaces that are just empty. And it feels like when we moved in, we were like, what are we missing? I guess we'll find out over the next couple weeks and we'll go get it from the home. And we haven't needed anything.
To put it in perspective, Megan and I, on each side of our bed, we have probably a foot, maybe a foot and a half wide kind of hanging closet. And that's all we have. We don't have any drawers to put clothes in. So that's all we have. So we have kind of a hanging, what would you call that? Like a hanging shoebox or hanging shelves?
Drawers, shelves. Yeah.
Shelves. And
Hanging
so we
shelves.
have, and they're like 3 shelves that hang from the rod. And so we've put all of our clothes in there and then our hanging clothes, which is maybe like 4 inches worth.
Yeah.
And both of us
And we bought
have all of our clothes in there and that's it. I mean, so we really
and like
packed
3
down.
pairs of shoes or something.
And I have not.
So don't look to us to be your like style icons because
That's true.
the options are limited, but we get by. Most of the time I'm in the RV with the kids. Who cares? And you're working in your scrubs. So.
Right. And really, I haven't missed anything in the few nights we've went out, like adventuring, going to the governor's mansion, anytime we go out to eat, or we've brought nice clothes to go out, but it doesn't feel like I'm over wearing those or anything.
Right. I was just telling Ryan today that I've spent time in the RV now for about a month with the kids, and I can really tell that there is a lower like mental load of stuff to do or stuff to take care of just by being in the RV and having less stuff. And I was telling them it's really tangible. I feel like my mental load is just lower, almost gone, because there's some times where I can just sit down and truly enjoy watching the girls, being with the girls, reading to them, getting involved, not feeling like it's taking extra energy to do it or I'm pushing something off in the back of my mind. I just like feel lighter. And I always enjoy spending time with them, but it feels different than when I'm at the house and I have more things to take care of, more things that might be on my mind to do, all those random cleaning tasks that are like deep cleaning that I'm like, okay, I got everything picked up, but I need to like clean the dishwasher and dust and do the baseboards.
They're like stuck in the back of your head and you can't fully relax.
Yeah.
But when there's less stuff to do or maintain.
It's not constant like that because there's still stuff to maintain and do. But when it gets to that point, it's just crazy how I can feel the difference, and it's really nice.
I think it's also interesting because you can have some, I think, decision fatigue when there's so many possibilities, when you have so much stuff around you that you can interact with, whether it be clothes, you have so many choices to wear, or items to play with at your home, gadgets and gizmos, and it can be kind of like daunting and fatiguing of like, what am I going to do next when you're kind of living a minimalist lifestyle and you only have a few things to do. If you don't want to do either of those, then there's nothing. But it's like it's not so
like
many
here,
options.
I don't have a dishwasher to like deep clean. I don't have a washer and dryer to deep clean, because you see that on Instagram, all those cleaning accounts that are like really deep clean it. It's different. It's nice. Oh, we don't have a huge closet full of stuff to feel like, oh, I can't fit anything else in there, so I should probably pare it down. That would be a whole activity that would take me a couple days with kids.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even have a whole closet that's full of stuff. So it's very different. But let's hop into a couple of our packing tips.
Right. So these are some things that we have really enjoyed, some minimalist items that, which seems kind of weird. It's like, here's some items for you to take to be a minimalist, but it's things that we use for multiple things, and the alternative could be a lot more things that you're packing. Okay, we are back. We have a special guest. Someone does not want to go down for bedtime, so Miss Reagan is on our Ryan and Megan show. So Ryan, Megan, and Reagan show.
First special guest.
We're real happy to have you here, even though it is bedtime and you should be in bed.
Do you have anything to say? Nice.
Very insightful.
Okay. Good.
Reagan has done good at minimalism. We don't have all of her toys, which is a ton of toys, because as the first of some grandparents, everyone likes to bestow toy presents upon us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually done well.
Because she goes home and plays with toys that she's missed, and then comes back here and has plenty to keep her busy.
And we still kind of cycle them out. We keep her toys in a bin, and then we only let her play with a certain amount. And then every so often we cycle them through. So it's like, hey, a new present every other week.
Yeah. Okay. Back to our tips.
So some of our items, one of my favorite items that we have is a set of dumbbells that are adjustable. And they adjust down to as low as, I think, about 5 pounds. And they go up as high as
7.5, I think.
No, I think it's 5.
Really?
Low as 5, and it goes all the way up to 50 pounds. And we have 2 of those dumbbells. And they take up the square footage of maybe 2 by 2. So it's really awesome because we can do a ton of body weight and then those dumbbell workouts here in the RV, outside, and we don't have like a full rack of weights or plates. And they have been really, really great.
Mm-hmm. Our second tip, I don't know if it's tips or items, but we're saying to take less clothing. And we kind of covered that in a previous video. We can link that. We kind of detailed what a good packing list would be to get you all of the necessities without overpacking. And we tried to follow that when we moved into the RV. And I think we did with our clothing, obviously, because we've got so little space, Ryan and I, and it's gone well.
I think the clothing thing is a big one, especially if you're not an RVer, or if you are an RVer, you're going to be traveling with a suitcase. And so if you can kind of travel with like a suitcase and backpack, and boom, you're ready to roll and go, that will take a lot of weight off of you. And so really look at those clothes and try not to pack too much. Look at our packing list. We have a great kind of base layer kind of clothes stuff. I'll put a link down in the description that will take you to a free downloadable PDF of kind of our packing list, what we go off of when we go on a travel assignment. The next one is just kind of planning on only doing 1 or 2 hobbies. And if they can cross over, then that's even better.
Or if you have multiple, make sure it's not multiple with a ton of stuff.
Right. Like if you're an equestrian rider, you're probably not going to bring your horse with you.
Oh my gosh.
So make sure your hobbies are kind of small, or if you really love those, then you might only get to bring 1.
Then the next one is, if you are a reader, bring a Kindle. That would be a great investment as a traveler. You don't want to travel with a ton of books. You don't want to travel with textbooks unless you find yourself referring to them often. You can always change our tips and rules to whatever works for you. But when we moved into Big Betty, we literally brought all of our school textbooks that were like from our last year that we referenced a whole bunch.
From both of us.
From both of us. I don't know why we did that. And
we never looked at them once.
No, we didn't.
Never looked at them once. So if you have a reference textbook or a book that you model your treatment after and you really do reference that often, then bring maybe that one book, but take it from us. You don't need all those textbooks. You have Google.
Yep.
Okay, the next one is a ladies one, so I will let you do that one with the makeup.
Oh, just for us ladies out there, just bring one bag of makeup. I have a travel case, and whenever we are traveling, I always work out of that. I don't bring more than that case. I don't empty it out into anything. I just work out of that. And then if you use like hairstyling tools, try to bring just one or two and make them diverse, or whatever your favorite style is. You
do a really good job of keeping that tiny.
I feel like this whole episode is just pointing to like us being ugly.
Oh, yeah.
We do a good job of not bringing clothes to wear, and we do a good job of not.
If you're really into fashion, you're really into makeup, and that's like your thing, you're going to have a little harder time with this. But I bet you could really think about what you truly need, what you truly don't need, and you'll be able to pare it down a little bit. And that's all we're saying. Again, we're not minimalists. We have multiple cups in our cupboard, but, you know, everyone can kind of pare it down, and it will take a literal weight off of what you're bringing. That leads into if you have an RV and there's some of those things you're going to need, like silverware, cups, bowls. You don't have to have just one bowl and one cup, but we would say, you know, like a set of 4 is really probably what you need. Obviously, if you have a larger family, then everyone needs a cup and a bowl. But we always kind of have it as if we have 2 guests over, another couple, then we can serve them. And then you always have backup paper plates and paper bowls in case for some reason you have a party at your RV spring up on you. You have extra stuff that you can use.
And then on to one of our last principles, I would say, is if you are trying to decide whether to bring something or not, and you're not quite sure what the right thing would be to do, just don't buy it or don't bring it. And wait until you need it. So then you can get it wherever you are, and you're not bringing around the extra weight or taking the extra space of something that you might not use.
I think a great example of that from us is when we first started RV traveling, I really thought we would need a foldable little table to sit outside with our lawn chairs because we were going to sit outside all the time and look up at the beautiful campground. And so I was ready to buy it. We hadn't left for a travel assignment yet. And Megan was just simply like, well, let's just wait and see if we need it. So let's see, let's go on contract and let's see, you know, are we sitting out there in our lawn chairs? And we're like, you know, it'd be really great to have a table to sit our coffee on. Guess what? That never happened. And so we never got the table. And that's how it is for a majority of items.
Or if it did happen, we used our Yeti next to us and we used it as a place to sit our
right. Yeah,
drinks.
You find alternative things. And if there is a situation where you do find yourself there and you're like, man, I really need this and I've needed this a couple times, beautiful time, beautiful excuse to say, okay, let's go buy it.
Yeah.
All right. So I think that's really kind of covers just kind of minimalism, how that's been very helpful for us. It's literally taken a load off our shoulders. It feels refreshing not to have so many things around you. There's a lot more great content on that on YouTube and books about minimalism, but really consider it as a traveler.
But it's not so extreme that it's stressful.
Yes, it's not so extreme.
It's just what you need.
Just dabble into it, and it might be really helpful for you. So let's go ahead, and before we hop into our segment of what's been good, what's been poopy, if you are ready to start out as a travel therapist, hit this travel lifestyle on the go, you need a good recruiter. And so we are always willing to share the recruiters who we personally work with and trust. All you need to do is go down to the description. There'll be a link there. Click that link. It's going to take you to a form on our website. You fill out that form. That lets us get to know you a little bit better so we can pair you with the recruiter we think you would fit best with. Well, let's hop into it.
Yeah.
What's been good for you?
What's been good? This past weekend, my parents visited us at our new location. That was great because it was nice to see familiar faces and have family around. And it's like another activity. Sometimes being in the RV with the girls, I'm like scrambling for things to do that's a little bit different. So having them come in was really nice. And we shared a meal, and they just came in after church on Sunday, and then we're able to go home that same day. So the distance for this contract from our home has been really convenient.
It was
That's
really
been
nice.
good.
The girls really loved seeing them.
Yeah.
So what's been poopy?
I'd say what's been poopy is it is now December, and in our last episode, we talked about how we were doing all our Christmas shopping in November so that we could start fresh in December. And so that means I can't buy stuff anymore.
Yep, the budget has rolled over to December,
Yeah.
which means we can't spend like crazy anymore.
Yep. So I got to put a pause on that, but it's good.
Yes.
What's been good? Well, what should we do?
Either one.
What's been good for you?
So what's been good is that we've been able to take a few nights and drive around with the girls, and there's been plenty of light displays in parks. Reagan, especially, who understands it a little bit more, is really loving it. She loves the lights. She always wants to go see them. And then we also got to go to the governor's mansion, which they light up, and they have like a what do they call it? A candle.
It's like a candlelight tour. It wasn't candlelit.
Not at all. I didn't see a single candle, but it brought me in. The marketing was perfect.
It was lit up with Christmas lights, and it was really pretty.
It was super pretty. Santa and Mrs.
Old-timey
Claus
Santa
were there.
was there.
Probably the best outfits I've ever
Best
seen.
dressed.
We'll have to post a picture of them. We took a picture with them, and they were really well dressed. And so that was really fun. That was really beautiful, cool, historic home.
What's been poopy?
What's been poopy is we got our new mattress. I ordered the same one that we have at our home.
It's not good for it to be under your new what's been poopy.
Yeah, and I ordered the same one that we have in our master back home, and I'm a little on the fence with it. I have had a really bad night's sleep on it. I've had a really good night's sleep on it. I'm slightly sore from it, so I don't know if my body's adjusting. I will say it's definitely better than our old mattress, which was
way
a
better.
lumpy sack of potatoes
It was.
and needed to go.
It was.
But we'll see. We're on the fence here, so that's kind of poopy. I was hoping for just a dream, once it got here.
I mean, your sleep scores they were good last night.
It's true. I need a week more of data from my watch here to see if I'm truly resting well.
Yeah. Hey, Reagan, do you have anything that's been good lately? What's been good? Here, put on your headphones. Do you like the Christmas lights? The lights? Okay. She likes the lights, people.
All right. Well, that is all we have for you for this episode. Hopefully it was helpful. If you could, hit that like button, consider subscribing, share this podcast with a friend who is interested in travel or who is traveling. And until next time, see ya.